Hello to everyone. This is the information session for the PhD, for those of you that want to do a PhD at the Nanyang Business School at NTU, Singapore. I'm Associate Professor Georgios Christopoulos and Assistant Dean of Research. What will happen today? We have a very nice list of representatives of the different divisions of the Nanyang Business School that will later give you more detailed information on how to apply and what will happen if you decide to do a PhD in this division. Now, some housekeeping rules. You can type your questions in the Q&A menu. We will try to answer the more generic questions in the menu itself. We'll type an answer. And some questions that are more selected for specific divisions might be answered or will be answered live by the speakers at the end of the session. So you might need to wait until the end of the session. Now, we have asked our previous students why they want to come to NTU and NBS actually. So NTU as a university has a top ranking, is at the top 100 and top 50 actually universities in the world, which means that many countries, including New Zealand, Australia, UK, Japan, seems that they are willing to offer a special visa or even a fast-track PR admission if you have a degree from a top 100 university, and NTU is one of the list. So this was actually in the news recently. United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Japan, they are trying to attract talent that have graduated from a university like NTU. Also, students find the NTU scholarship and application quite easy. Actually, it's very straightforward to apply. And the IELTS or TOEFL score is actually lower than other countries, let's say US. Typically, most, if not all, students will get campus housing for the first year, at least. We also sponsor a long-term visit pass for a spouse, for those students that are married. And Singapore is it's a multicultural society. Can you hear me? Somebody says they cannot hear me, right?
You're clear, Prof.
Because somebody said they cannot hear me. Okay. Anyway, so we are a multicultural society. We are open to many different religions and cultures, and especially for Muslim students from the Middle East, we were open to women wearing hijab or any other kind of cultural variations or things that might be important for its culture. Now, let's go back to NBS itself, right? It's one of the Asia's leading business school, and globally, actually. What we are known is that we are very research-oriented and very interdisciplinary. Being in an engineering school, actually, we are very tech-oriented. And also, our education is very relevant to industry. So many of our graduates might actually go to work back to the industry. We have over 250 instructors and more than 4,000 undergraduate students. Generally, a very comprehensive business school, which comes with more than 10 research centers. These are almost semi-autonomous. They work on their own, and they have most of the time their own funding. And sometimes PhD students might be hosted under one of these centers who have their own resources and their own expertise. We have the following specializations: accounting, banking and finance, information systems, operations management, marketing, leadership management organization, and strategy, international business and entrepreneurship. So later today, you're going to listen from professors from each specialization for more details, for the kind of work they do. Very, very interesting, very exciting, at the edge of human knowledge, I would say. So please stay tuned. Now, if you were to be admitted, it's a very selective PhD course. The first year is basically coursework. Don't worry if you don't have some of the, let's say, business or research abilities or knowledge before you come to NTU. We're going to make sure that you get all the necessary knowledge you need in order to succeed. Then you have something called the qualifying examination. It's not something to really be afraid of. Basically, we want to make sure that you are on track. And then the last 3 years is basically doing research for your topic you are interested in. These are some more details about the coursework and dissertation. So I have to say, it's a research degree, right? We have coursework, but it's a research degree. You're expected to do research here. What I highlight here is that the nomination of supervisor is based on your personal research interest and the expertise of the supervisor. When you submit your application, we also request some kind of research proposal, but this is mostly for us to see that you can articulate your research interest. Typically, your specific research proposal will be decided after the first year. So you have enough time to decide exactly what you want to do. So how do we do? Actually, I think during the last years, all our graduates find a position, mostly in academia and some in industry. We have many people that go to Europe, US, and Canada, some famous universities, Columbia, Nebraska, Toronto. Of course, many go to Australia because it's also closer. All the major universities you can see here, so our graduates are there. We have many PhD students from China, and they have returned to China. In fact, if you go to any major university in China, you will find an NBS graduate. This includes Taiwan and Hong Kong. And of course, Singapore, people, if they want to stay in Singapore, they find positions also in Singapore in research or in academia. We're looking in particular for local PhDs, but we are open to anyone. And of course, many to India and Thailand. Now, let's say you decide to try your chance and admitted to NBS. What we're basically looking for is a good bachelor or master's degree. You don't have to have a degree in business, just to make it clear. It could be almost anything. We even had graduates, I don't know, from arts, social sciences, engineering, computer science. Business is so versatile that everyone that has an interest in the business aspect of a topic is welcome in the business school. And what we want is a good GMAT or GRE score taken within the past 5 years. This is the average. We don't have a strict criterion who to accept. But of course, the higher, the better. A good TOEFL, as said before, but if your English was the medium of instruction at your bachelor level, or since you did a bachelor at UK, then it will not be required. Above all, you have to be passionate about research and teaching. You be motivated. Our target is our students to be independent at the end of the class, and you'll be willing to take up challenges. Is a life and career choice, actually, if you decide to do a PhD. The good news, if you come here, everything is funded, so the tuition is paid, and you also will have a fee. You have a monthly living allowance for up to 4 years. Though if you need more to stay longer, we find additional funding. There are two types of scholarships. One on the left, the Nanyang President Graduate Scholarship, is quite prestigious. It gives more money, and is across the university. So it would be given to specific, very capable PhD candidates across different disciplines. Now, I'm happy to say that almost every year we have one candidate from the Nanyang Business School to receive this graduate scholarship. So if we indeed find somebody who is has a very good CV, we will try to offer this higher scholarship. But if you don't get the President's Graduate Scholarship, of course, there's a typical Provost Graduate Award and NTU Research Scholarship on the right, which is also covers a tuition fee and offers monthly living allowance for up to 4 years. These are the numbers for January 2024 onwards. If you want more details, you can ask our PhD office. So besides that will cover the tuition fee and your monthly allowance, we also give money about conferences, IT allowance. Generally, you get other benefits on top of the typical scholarship. Finally, a quite distinctive aspect of NBS, we just were introduced to our very new building called Gaia. Is the ICS largest prefabricated wooden building. Is brand new, and as you know, research shows that if you work in a nice environment, you are more productive. So we believe that this will also help you to be successful. So if you want to ask for more details, these are our contact details, and will be shared also later. And many things, of course, are posted on our webpage. So please do your research on our webpage to find what you need before contacting. Now, what I'm going to do, I would like to ask Professor Zhang from accounting. She's a coordinator of accounting and a very good scientist, I have to say, quite famous, to explain to us what will happen for our students that join the accounting division as a PhD student. Prof. Zhang.
Thank you, George. Are you able to see my slides? Okay, good.
Yes.
So I'm just going to take a short while to introduce you our PhD accounting program. And the PhD accounting program, basically, we study how accounting information is used by capital market participants, either through data analysis or control experiments. For example, we study whether investors make mistakes in understanding certain accounting information and how judgments by capital market participants are influenced by the way information is presented. Now, we have enjoyed very good ranking. According to the publication records of PhD graduates in the most recent 6 years, we're #1 in Asia and #14 in the world. In comparison, NUS is number 87 in the world, Hong Kong USD is 59, Hong Kong U is 87. And as a matter of fact, we have been ranked within the top 40 of the world for the last consecutive 4 years. And our student placement has been very good. Our recent graduates have taken faculty positions at reputable universities, including Australian National University, Chinese University of Hong Kong, Peking University, University of Hawaii, University of Hong Kong, University of Queensland, University of Massachusetts, University of South Carolina, and University of Sydney. In some, they are well sought after, and many become stars in the academic profession. For example, this is our PhD student, and he graduated I believe, in 2007, and he is now Lee Kong Chiang Professor of Accounting and Associate Dean of Research at School of Accountancy of Singapore Management University. Here's another one, Elaine Wang. She's now James P. Cornell Endowed Professor at University of Massachusetts Amherst. And we also have stars in China. Here is a student, Hui Fang Yin. She graduated in 2011, and she was promoted to full professor at Shanghai University of Finance and Economics in 2019. So overall, we believe our PhD program offers high quality education for people who are interested in research and teaching, and we welcome you to join us. Thank you.
So I'll share a little bit about the finance area. So the finance area, we have two streams, actuary science and then more traditional finance. We typically take in one student for actuary and one student for traditional finance, although it varies a little bit from year to year. Our goal is to train the next generation of finance scholars. Like some of our graduates have gone to industry, but that's not our main intention. Like we really try to educate you so that you become a finance scholar. So what do we offer? We have a pretty good set of courses that should prepare you well for your research. Most of the data we use in finance research, we don't generate on our own. So we don't typically run surveys or experiments. We tap into these databases that have stock market data, accounting data, and so forth. And I can assure you that NTU subscribes to all the major research-oriented databases. And then I think we have a pretty helpful, friendly group of faculty who are there to help you if you have any questions. So these are the things we offer. What are we looking for? The first one shouldn't come as a big surprise. You should be comfortable with coding. Python in particular is becoming particularly important. Like traditionally we use these research-oriented databases, but increasingly we're also crawling information from the internet. Right? So if you know how to crawl, how to conduct textual analysis, that's going to be very helpful. Another thing we look for, and this might come a bit as a surprise to some of you, is a really strong writing and communication skills. Coming up with a research idea and then analyzing the data is just only one part of research. A huge component of research is communicating your findings to an audience. You need to have strong writing and communication skills. So when you take the GRE, don't obsess too much about the quant part. Also we pay close attention to also the writing score. That's basically it for finance. Feel free to ask any questions you might have for finance, and we'll cover them, I think, at the end of the session. Next up will be Ben Choi from Information Systems.
All right, thank you very much. Let me bring up my slides. Okay, I think you should be seeing my slides now. Hello, everybody. I'm Ben. I'm the PhD program coordinator for the Information System PhD program. So I'm going to give you a quick overview in terms of what we do and what we are looking for, basically. Okay, so first of all, let me show you who we are. So what you can see on the slide now are essentially some of our faculty members. Essentially, we are a good mixture of experienced people as well as energetic young talent. So we have our professors, but they are essentially either current senior editors at our top journals. If not, they have previously served on the editorial boards of those journals. We also have a very heavy group of associate professors. They are essentially, most of them are in fact serving as associate editors in the top journal as well. And of course, our young assistant professors group who will basically be working with you if you shall join us on a daily basis in terms of exploring research ideas as well as in executing your project. So overall, I think this is a very good package that you'll be receiving if you shall join us in terms of membership as well as supervision. So what exactly do we do? Well, essentially in terms of information system studies, what we are interested is about the effects or implications of technology on businesses, society, as well as individual. It is by large a multidisciplinary domain whereby we study things related to psychology, economics, technology in particular, of course. So what you see on the screen now are essentially the two key pillars that we have to guide our overall research interest in our department. So the first pillar is about digital strategy in business enterprises. In particular, some of the work that we have already done is focusing on digital transformation as well as digital and mobile banking, for example. The other very major stream that we have is about sharing economy as well as the industry disruptions. So this is about sort of like the cutting edge of some of the problems that you may have heard about, such as crowdfunding, sustainability, as well as green IS. What are we looking for? Well, we are basically looking for you. In particular, we are interested in bright, motivated, committed individuals like you. And we do hope that you will be very willing to learn and explore. And of course, you must have a passion about technology. So if you happen to be sort of like techie, then well, you will be a very good plus to the program. There are other considerations which not necessarily essential. If you have some research or work experiences that can be helpful, as well as prior training in terms of economics, statistics, for example, with software such as R, as well as programming such as Python, will certainly be a bonus. I know some of you may be interested in terms of what are some of the latest trend in terms of research and information system. So what you see on the screen now are essentially some of the recently completed special issues in our top journal, as well as some of the current call for papers in our top journal. So overall, what you can see is that we are interested in terms of resilience, digital resilience, as well as analytics, AI, and of course, sustainability in general. So those are the key bubbles in terms of what the entire information system research is currently very interested in. All right. So with that, basically, I have come to the end of my part, and I believe I'm handing over to Thomas.
Thank you so much, Ben Choi. Let me share my screen as well. Hey, welcome. My name is Thomas Roxul. I'm an associate professor with the Division of Leadership, Management and Organization, and I'm also the PhD coordinator for our program. I just wanted to remind those of you who have joined a little bit later into our talk that if you can please write your questions that you may have into the Q&A section of the Zoom chat, and we will be able to answer those questions at the end of all the presentations. And what I thought I'd do is I also give you a little bit of an overview, same as what my other colleagues have done in terms of what kind of research topics you can expect at our division.
Okay.
Yeah, so in terms of research areas, I've here given you what we call a scientometric map of all the research papers that our colleagues at the faculty do. There's lots of very specific topics that you can see in the different bubbles that range from information system, cultural intelligence, there's personality research, research on decision-making, cognition, a lot of behavioral research on health and underground spaces. But if you think very broadly about the broader topics that we cover in our division, they would probably fall under three large pieces. So there's a very strong emphasis on leadership research. So we're trying to understand how leaders can be effective in organization and how you can exercise good leadership in organizations. The second pillar would be organizational behavior research. So these are generally studies about what drives and motivates people in organization, how can they perform well in organizations, what kind of conditions need to be in place for people to work effectively. And then the last pillar would be what we call broadly human capital or human resource or talent management. So these are more from an organizational perspective. How can you manage the resources of your employees? I think one thing that's quite unique about our program is that most of our colleagues will probably subscribe to what we call a scientist practitioner ethos. What this means is that we, on one hand, we do conduct very basic scientific research, but we are always concerned about the practical impact and the practical implications of our research as well. So a lot of our research studies and PhD theses are actually done out in the field with actual people in actual organizations. So that's very unique, perhaps, about our program. The other piece that is somewhat unique about particularly the LMO program at the Nanyang Business School is that we have a very strong emphasis on culture and cultural issues in leadership. This is in part because Singapore, as Prof. George mentioned at the very beginning of the presentation, is a very multicultural society. So questions of how cultures can work together, especially when East and Western cultures kind of collide in the city of Singapore, are very interested to many of our research scholars and also many of our PhD students. So we do quite a bit of research in the cross-cultural domain of research as well. Similar as for our other divisions, a lot of our faculty members, they are either current or former editors-in-chiefs, maybe associate editors or members of editorial boards for most of the top academic journals in our field. And our faculty obviously also publish quite a lot of research in the same journals as well. And here I've just given you some snapshot of the publications, many of which also include collaborations with our PhD students. So as part of our PhD program, we also place a great emphasis that our students start their journey of publishing already as early as possible. So with that said, we are looking for you. We are welcoming you to join our PhD program. We have a very strong mentoring emphasis within our program. So we take this PhD journey as a journey that we take together with our students. In terms of the qualities that we look for in students, I think there's an overlap to what many of the other divisions look for as well. You must be curious in the first place to understand the phenomena in the real world, so a strong sense of curiosity. Strong academic rigor. If you have some prior research experiences, those will be excellent. And strong communication and writing skills are also crucial because we do need to communicate our findings to the outside world to make that impact that we are looking for within our scientist practitioner ethos. With that said, if you have any particular questions, you can also feel free to email me directly, and I shall pass back the baton to Karen from PhD office. She will show a presentation for the marketing Professor Chang, who can unfortunately not make it in person today. Karen, I hand it back to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm the PhD coordinator in the marketing division, and I'll be sharing about the PhD program in marketing. So our PhD program in marketing actually have two main research tracks, and that's actually closely in line with our faculty member expertises in two areas. One area is called consumer behavior, and the other area is called quantitative marketing. So in the area of consumer behavior, our faculty members have strong expertise on understanding, consumer psychology and how consumers behave, why consumers behave in a certain manner in the marketplace. And we use experimental methods as well as mixed methods to understand various topics such as consumer decision-making, emotions, social influence, culture, and nowadays new technologies. And in the area of quantitative marketing, we focus on theoretically grounded empirical analysis of applied marketing problems. So our goal is to understand, firm decisions, firm choices, and our expertise actually ranges from empirical modeling using econometrics models to the application of machine learning techniques and etc. So in terms of the requirements or the kind of the traits we're looking at, we're looking for the candidates in the CB track. We are looking for candidates with a good training in psychology or business-related areas. Essentially, you need to have some kind of understanding of consumer psychology. Whereas in the quantitative marketing track, we are looking for candidates with good training in quantitative, with a quantitative background, right? So for example, you could be majoring in economics, statistics, computer science, mathematics, engineering, and etc. All right, so the basic idea is that ideally you want to have some kind of basic understanding of what each track is about, and of course having some kind of research experience will be a plus. But more importantly, we're really looking for candidates or people who are actually intellectually curious, right? So essentially, if you find yourself to be someone who is always interested in, understanding why this happens, and there's moments where you feel like, oh, I do this, but why would I do that? And you're always interested in the whys. I think you might actually be a good candidate for our PhD program, right? And our PhD program is a relatively small but quite successful PhD program. We have placed our graduates in all the top, or the leading academic institutions around the world. For example, these are our the placement of our recent graduates, right? They have been placed at top in leading institutions in Hong Kong, Europe, China, North America, Singapore, and etc. Right. So one of the benefits of our PhD program is that because we're a relatively small program, we have a lot of research active faculty who are willing to supervise students, and the students actually have a lot of time to actually work on research projects with our faculty members, and our faculty members are very supportive in terms of providing the resources and the trainings to help our students to be successful in the market. So with that, thank you very much for your attention. And in the meantime, if you have any questions about the PhD program in marketing, please feel free to email me to ask me any questions. So my email is actually provided on the screen, and I look forward to receiving your applications. Thank you.
Okay, I believe everybody can see my screen, right? So my name is Chen Jianmin, and I'm from the ITOM division of Nanyang Business School. And it's really excited to be here to give you a brief introduction to the PhD in the Operations Management track. So I just want to use this slide to give you a broad idea of what operations management involves. And this also gives you a broad picture of what the type of research that the faculty in the OM group is doing. So operation management basically concerned with the provision of goods and services from end to end. So we are looking at the efficiency of this resource conversion process. So the typical topic that we are looking at will be production planning and process optimization, inventory and logistic management. And also we are also concerned with the quality of the product and services. And finally, a major topic in this field is that how do we coordinate different companies in the supply chain so we can make the whole process more efficient. And with that, I want to just give you an overview of the coursework of our current PhD students. And operation management is a very special group in business school because we are very interdisciplinary. We have people doing modeling work. Basically, these are the people using analytical models or economic models to derive insights for specific operations problems. And we also have people just using data or experiment to explore different phenomena in the operation management work. So we have good coursework planning that we cater for two different groups. So for the modeling tracks, basically we'll focus on the methodology of optimizations and also probability and statistical models. And for empirical tracks students, we will want them to go through the typical empirical trainings with statistics, econometrics, and even programming. So in the past, for the modeling track, we have admitted students mainly from many students with a very strong mathematical background. So we have admitted math majors before, and also students from the engineering schools. And for the empirical tracks, we have generally consider students with prior empirical research background. So they are usually good at statistics, econometrics, and programming. And on this slide, you can see some photos. So these are the faculty members in the OM groups, and also you see the tables of the topics that we are basically doing. So we do have a very diverse faculty groups looking at different areas in operation management and using different methodologies. And I've seen some questions from the Q&A windows that you don't really have to choose a specialization or a research topic before you join the PhD program, although that we will anticipate that you should have some ideas about the type of research that you want to do. So it's just in any case that if you find any interesting topics in operation management, you can feel free, you can reach out to any of the LM faculty members. We can start the discussion first. And usually that will help you to hit the grounds and running when you join the program. Okay, so in terms of the type of students that we want to look for, first of all, especially for the modeling track students, we want them to have good mathematical skills. So that usually means that you should have a very strong math foundation when you join us. And also we want students to have some research experience. So usually I would recommend that we welcome applications from students who already have a master's degree, or you have some experiences writing your master thesis. And finally, I think this is common across all specialization or more different tracks, that we want students to have strong motivation to achieve excellence, because after all, PhD is a very long process. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation. I'll pass the time to Marilyn.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Marilyn. I'm representing the specialization in strategy, international business, and entrepreneurship of the Nanyang Business School PhD program. I'm the PhD coordinator for our division, but I just want to inform you that I'm completing my PhD role. By the end of the year, I'm transitioning to being the deputy head of our division. So starting January 1st, my colleague Lacey will take over the PhD coordination for our division. All right, so in terms of the research topics that our faculty pursue, this word cloud represents the areas that we have dabbled into, as well as the topics that we are currently busy with. So essentially, these represent the types of research that we do in the broad domains of strategic management, international business, and entrepreneurship. Note that you don't have to cover all three in your research topic, because you will be mentored by specific faculty or faculties looking into the questions that you wanted to have clarity on based on their expertise in strategic management, entrepreneurship, or international business. So to be more specific with respect to some of the questions that we asked, as well as the topics that have been published in top-tier management, entrepreneurship, and international business journals, this is a representative work of our faculty with respect to the key research areas that we are pursuing. And in terms of our graduates, so we've had graduates that have faculty positions in the region, and primarily they have been pursuing very successfully their academic career. So we really focus on molding you to become scholars in the field of management. And essentially, we do want you to have a successful academic career. So if you're looking into industry path, that's also okay, but that is not the thrust of our program. In terms of successful applicants, of course, the right fit is the key, but we are also looking at motivated individuals who have the right aptitude and the scholarly passion for pursuing interesting questions and conducting research that's both rigorous and relevant. We are very interdisciplinary in our approach. Primarily, we draw on theoretical perspectives in the areas of economics, psychology, and sociology, among others. And we look at both empirical and conceptual papers. And with respect to our students, as I have mentioned in the previous slide, many of them are actually placed in universities and research institutes, both locally and internationally. So thank you very much. And now I will hand over to one of our most successful PhD graduates. She completed her marketing degree in NBS, and she is now an assistant professor in Hong Kong Baptist University. So please welcome Dr. Tang Chin.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the introduction. So I'm Qin. I just graduated from NBS this year from the marketing division, and currently I'm an assistant professor at Hong Kong Baptist University. Today, I'm going to share with you my PhD journey at NBS and some reasons why NBS is the best choice for you to pursue a PhD degree. So the most important parts, academic support. First, we have a collegial environment, so we don't have that kind of hierarchies between supervisors and students, so you can freely communicate your thoughts to your supervisors. And also, our supervisors provide professional and supportive supervision aiming at your personal growth. So they really care about your own research interest. So take myself as an example. Because of my two supportive supervisors, I was able to publish my dissertation at a top journal in marketing by my 4th year. So I'm really grateful for this. And also, NBS encourage our students to attend and even present your work at international conferences. So NBS provide generous financial support. This is a photo from the conference at Seattle that I just attended 2 weeks ago. So I think NBS really supports our PhD students to attend international conferences. And another good thing is that we have this PhD exchange program. So you can take credited courses from other schools and even other universities in Singapore, such as NUS and SMU, which are quite privileged universities. And these courses, you can really get credits from it. It's not just auditing the course. And we also offer our PhD students with an opportunity to teach in your 3rd year, which is just one undergrad course. And I think the load is just right, because when you are on the job market, many universities care about whether you have the ability to independently teach your course. So they ask for a teaching record. So I think this opportunity is really helpful for you on the job market as a PhD candidate. And without mention, we also provide a lot of on-campus supports. So for example, you will have stipend that is more than enough for you to independently live in Singapore. And also we have very friendly and peers. So relatively, our PhD group is relatively small, but they are all very warm people. And also each supervisor just supervise around 1 to 2 PhD students, which means that you will get detailed guidance from the supervisors. And we also have other facilities like the PhD office. All the members are very helpful and warm. We also provide a PhD lounge for PhD students to take a rest or discuss their research ideas or something. And you will also get an opportunity to stay at the student hall, which is really convenient because it's on campus and very cheap. And another thing that most PhD students care a lot about is the job market support. So first, I would say that NTU and NBS has a good reputation all over the world. So we have alumni that has got positions in universities from different areas in the world. And also you will get assistance from all kinds of sources. For example, the professors are really helpful. They will write you powerful reference letters, and they will hold some job talk rehearsals like mock job talks for you to strengthen your presentational skills and prepare you for the interviews. And also we have senior students who will give a career sharing every year to share their experience on the job market, and perhaps they can provide you with some internal opportunities, for example, like recommending you to their universities. So I really had a great experience at NBS, and I hope you can join us in the near future. Thank you. So next, let's welcome Shota, a current PhD candidate from the LMO division.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tam, for introduction. Let me share my screen. Can you all see my screen? Great. So, hello everyone. So thank you for joining us today. From me, I would like to share my student life and experience in the PhD program at NBS. And I wanted to do a quick introduction about myself first. And my name is Shota, and I'm currently a 50-year PhD student in the Division of Leadership, Management, and Organizations. And overall, I'm very satisfied with my experiences in NBS and feel very appreciated of my faculty members and all the staff members who have been working really hard to make academic training and also life in Singapore as meaningful as possible. So today I would like to focus on two things. And first, I'll walk you through the timeline and the requirements I had as a PhD student. Then I will share some of the resources and support available to the PhD student. Okay. So in terms of the timeline, I joined the PhD program in 2019. And in the first year, I focused most of my time on the coursework, where I needed to take several mandatory courses along with some elective ones. And these courses are very helpful in building the foundation for my area of interest and also learning about various types of research methodologies and analytical techniques. And as PhD programs in NBS are relatively small, I was able to interact with the faculty members here very closely. And they're all well-renowned scholars who have great expertise in various fields and greatly motivated in doing interesting research. And they're also really supporting students to engage in high-quality research as well. So actually, I had a chance to work with one of my professors after taking his course. He's not my advisor, but we still ended up publishing one paper together in one of the top-tier management journals, and which became one of my major milestones during the PhD program. And after the first year, you need to pass a qualifying exam, which we call QE. And we usually have QE sometime during the second year. And the requirement and format for the QE vary across divisions. And you can find more about it from the division you are interested in. And if you don't pass it for the first time, you have another chance to take it. But as long as you work conscientiously and put reasonable amount of time and efforts, QE is really nothing to be scared of. And once we pass the QE, we start having more time for our own research. And with regard to research, there are two major milestones in a PhD program. First, we have a summer paper presentation, which we consider to be our first independent work. And we can work with the advisor or other faculty in your program, and they help you come up with an idea and offer some help in terms of developing study design, collecting data, and writing the manuscript. And we usually complete this requirement sometime at the end of the second year or early third year. And the second major milestone is, of course, thesis or dissertation, and which you might have to spend a couple of years. In my case, I spent 2 to 3 years and submitted my thesis by the end of the 4th year. And now I'm on the job market to look for an academic position. And if you're interested in the NBS, and this is also not mandatory, but I would still recommend you have some ideas about who you'd like to work with before coming to here. And that will definitely help you spend your time more effectively and efficiently. And you might also have an opportunity to work for other research projects aside from your dissertation, especially if you consider academic career after PhD. And also, I would like to quickly talk about the support we have in the PhD program. And first of all, we have staff members who have many years of experiences, and they're very well versed with the potential issues both foreign and local PhD students might face in their lives. And as an international student, I also received lots of support from them, especially when I first settled in Singapore. And we also have some funding available to support PhD students for their research-related activities. And I also appreciate the supportive culture we have among NBS PhD students. And some of our students work very hard as part of NBS graduate student council members and host many fun activities like welcome gathering and also bi-monthly birthday parties for all the PhD students so that we can feel relaxed and also continue to be productive throughout our PhD lives. And this is the end of my sharing. And I'm very proud to say that NBS is going to be my alma mater and appreciate all the unique experiences I had here for the past 4 years. And I hope that there's some parts in my sharing that are inspiring for you. And next, I would like to pass it back to Prof George to facilitate the Q&A session.
Thanks to everyone. Now we're gonna try to answer some questions that have been posted. Prof Zhang, are you there, or should I ask somebody else? Okay. Yeah, we cannot hear you. Yeah. Have you seen the questions? So there are questions about the background required.
Yes. I think I'll take some time to answer the questions.
Please,
Since I've taken a look at the question there. I think there are 4 questions. The first question is, will accounting favor students with economics or computer science background? The answer to that will be no, because we welcome students from all backgrounds. But if you have some research experience, that will be definitely a big plus. So that is the first question. Then the second question is, will the accounting department accept students who have business degree but did not major in accounting? Certainly. We welcome students with or without business degree. And if you have business degree, that would be great. If you don't major in accounting, that's totally fine. Additionally, what type of business typically employ PhD accounting graduates? Would they often find roles in data analytics? What kind of data analytic roles do they do? Or are placements more focused academics? The answer to that question is we focus a lot on training researchers. So I would say up to now, 100% of our students go to academics. That is, they become assistant professors at reputable universities. So yeah, so the answer to that is our placement is really focused on academics. Are publications considered as a competitive edge for applying accounting PhD program? The answer to that question is yes. If you have publications, it can be either in English or in other languages. We will definitely take a look at your publications, and those publications provide evidence about your research abilities. So therefore, if you have publications, that is a big plus. I think that's about it for the accounting questions. Thanks, George.
Thank you very much. Then we'll go for banking and finance. Prof Wang. Can you see the questions?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the ones for finance. oh, can I focus on investments or portfolio management program during the PhD course? Yeah, you can. Investments is a big part of the traditional finance, and so we have some classes on that. And then if you want, you can also do research in that area. I don't think we have a minimum, like a cutoff score for the GRE. The one thing we do have is for the analytical writing score, I believe needs to be about 3.5, but I don't think that's specific to finance. I think that's an NTU rule. The highlight and main focus. I don't think we have, like, we're pretty broad. Like, we have professors doing research in all different parts of finance. The one thing I could say maybe is that we don't do much theory work. We're an empirical group. So if you know from already that you want to do theory, NTU might not be the best fit for you. But if you think you actually might be interested in empirical work, we're pretty broad and we can help you with anything in that area. Collaboration. Yeah, there was one question of whether we collaborate with industry. I mean, some of us provide consulting services with to fund, and then as we work together on things and have conversations, some research ideas might pop up. So that does happen, yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah. So for the panelists, you can find a collection of the questions if you press the chat button. There's a question about banking and finance. Can somebody focus on investment or portfolio management program?
Yeah. You can. Like, we have quite a few investments people. So that's definitely something you can do.
Okay. Somebody has a 10 years experience and 2 master's degree. They want to do research in consumer finance.
I see. I guess consumer, I mean, that's something we have some people doing work in an area called household finance. So that's just how regular people make decisions. Consumer finance is also an area that actually marketing does a lot of research in. Yeah, so I guess there's 2 divisions almost that he or she could apply to.
Okay, let's go to the IS. And so there's one question, what career prospects if somebody has a PhD in information systems, what can they do?
All right, so thanks for that question, which is about basically what will be the jobs available to IS PhD graduates. Similar to the previous earlier responses, our predominant focus is in training our PhD students for faculty positions. So basically, we want to place our students in the top research university. So that is certainly one of the key career prospects that we are looking for. As you may know, the analytics, AI, and stuff are increasingly popular, if not already very commonly employed in all the organizations and businesses. There are, in fact, an increasing demand for PhD graduates from the industry as well. So those are some of the possible potential career placements that our graduates may look for. But once again, predominantly, I think all our graduates recently are placed in universities as faculty members. So that will be my answer to that question.
Great. For LMO, have you seen the question, Thomas?
Yeah, I've seen the question. So the question is about somebody is having interest in emotion within leader-follower diets. And he or she noticed that most of our faculty are very strong in culture, whether or not they can apply. The obvious question is, or answer to the question is yes. Much as our faculty have a certain core strength in cultural research, we are by no means only focused on cultural research. In fact, leadership in general is a very strong emphasis area in our division. So you'll find lots of scholars who do research on leadership, and likewise for broader organizational phenomena. So if those are your research interests, you are certainly more than welcome to apply for our program. And you should find faculty who work in these areas more generally as well.
Great. Now for the SIE division, Prof. Marilyn.
Okay, thank you. So the question is business ecosystem or innovation ecosystem an area of interest and strategy? So it's definitely part of the strategic management division. So if you're interested to develop your research stream in this space, then you're more than welcome to apply. So the second question is, if the answer is no, so it's not relevant anymore. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Let me answer some questions. So there is some interest in sustainability or environmental psychology. I think sustainability is very big now in NBS across all divisions. If you specifically want to do psychology, maybe marketing or LMO, actually even myself are interested in that, but sustainability is such a broad category that you can apply in all different divisions. So basically it depends what you want to do. There is a question that comes very often about the research proposal. I think my colleagues have elaborated on this, but maybe I want to state again that the main target of the research proposal is to see your motivation, that you can articulate your thoughts, you understand what research is. But to make it clear, it's not committing in the sense that what you propose in the research proposal is what you're going to do. Generally, that's why we have 1 year that you have the coursework, and then later you decide what you do in collaboration with a supervisor you can find. I see some people also ask, do they need to contact a professor beforehand? It's good. Certainly you can try. But many candidates come and they are accepted and they find the supervisor much later. So also, if some professor doesn't reply, don't take it as a negative. Maybe they're just busy or they have a lot of PhD students actually. So don't worry. Is anyone from the panelists wants to say something about green sustainable operations?
Yeah, I can say a few words about it. So sustainable operation, as Georgios put it, that sustainability is a very, very broad construct that covers from finance, marketing to everything. But in sustainable operation in particular, we focus on in business operations. So from the production, logistics, supply chain, how do we minimize the environmental impact? So within this process, you need to make people or company need to make a broad range of decisions, from product design to process design and to coordination with different supply chain partners. So all these will fall into the scope of sustainable operations. Yeah, I think that's all.
Very nice. There's a question about now Assistant Prof Ching. As a PhD student, how early did you start preparing for the job market?
Okay, thanks for the question. So I guess usually we will start prepare for the job markets at the end of our 4th year of the PhD study. So usually you will begin to see those recruitment posts on those websites from July and to August. So my suggestion is that you prepare earlier, like you should start preparing for your package in early June or something, because you need to prepare all kinds of materials like your CV, your research statement and teaching statement, something like this, and also reference letters, which might take quite long for your references to get prepared. So my suggestion is that you start earlier in early June. Yeah, that's it for the question.
Since you are here, there's one more question. Did you have plenty of opportunity to network? And how did you do that?
Sorry?
The question is, did you have plenty of opportunity for networking? And how did you do networking during your PhD?
You mean networking with like other scholars or something?
Probably, yes. Yeah.
So actually, I think I'm kind of not so lucky because I've experienced the pandemic period, which is quite a barrier for us to interact with other persons. For example, we can only do like online conferences or something. But I think one important thing based on my own experience is that you should seize every opportunity to interact with scholars from like other universities or at your division, for example. So we invite quite a lot of scholars from other universities as visiting professors here every year to give a talk or to meet with the faculties or PhD students. So I tried to like seize every opportunity to schedule a meeting with different people to try to see whether we have more chances to collaborate or something. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Sota, one question for you. How did you come up with the idea about your PhD?
Oh, so
No, this is for Sota. This is for Sota.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but also, yeah,
Yeah.
you can comment also. Yeah.
yeah, so actually the topic first come from like a discussion with my supervisor at a PhD seminar course. So at that course, we were required to like generate one idea for each topic every week. So it is also a good opportunity for you to practice like idea generation. So I had that idea and I discussed with my supervisor about that. So he thought it was interesting. So we just began to work on it. Yeah.
Sota?
Oh, yeah, sure. So the way I kind of developed my research topic is, yeah, it was also through the discussion with my supervisor, especially for the work that I'm doing for the thesis. I definitely had this broad areas of interest, and that's how, I mean, that helped me identify the supervisor that I wanted to work with. But I mean, those interests are not specific enough to be tailored to the dissertation topic for the research. So yeah, so I basically discussed with my supervisor and really pinpoint what specific topics or ideas that we wanted to work with. And also, I just wanted to add on, but for the paper that I published with, I mean, the paper that I mentioned during my sharing is that it's also coming from one of my PhD seminars where, I mean, it kind of popped up during the discussion with my professor. So, and I also heard that many of our PhD students sort of, work on some of the research ideas for, I mean, part of their coursework, like either, final, like, paper for the class or whatever. But I mean, those ideas do not, they're just not for the course, but they can be actually translated or turned into the actual project later on. So which we usually work on to aim for potential publication, and the professors are really helpful in that respect. So yeah, that's how we usually kind of develop the research topic and ideas.
Great. Maybe we'll go one more round. Again, back to accounting. There's a question about how to validate the research experience.
Yeah, the question is research experience in accounting primarily validated by recommendation letters from research track accounting professors, Well, if you do research, there must be some output. So in addition to recommendation letters, you can send your research papers to us. You can describe your research in your proposals. And if you have publications, you can also send us publications. So there's definitely more than one way to provide evidence of your research productivity. And I also think there is later on, there is a question about whether you will be looked down upon if you apply for banking, finance, and accounting at the same time. Well, I'll just provide some input from accounting side, and Beyond can later provide some insight from the bank and finance side. I don't think we are going to discriminate against you because you want to apply for both divisions. It's okay that if you have interest in more than one division, that's okay. And certainly from accounting perspective, we're not going to hold it against you. I think I pretty much answered all questions for accounting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, you can apply different divisions, and also, I don't know, you can apply in other schools in NTU. Each of them are treated independently. For LMO, there is a question about a minor in psychology, right?
Yeah, I saw
Sure about that.
this is actually a question where we cannot really tell you exactly the criteria because those will actually depend on the psych department in NTU. So we certainly allow our students to take courses in other schools, so that they can take psych courses or they can take sociology courses if that's their interest. But whether or not those will be sufficient to fulfill a minor criteria will depend on the psych school or the social science school in those cases. So for these cases, you would have to check with them. There was also later a question on to what extent it is compulsory that we should have publications or research experience, or does work experience as a human research help to increase the competitiveness? The answer to the first question is no, it is not compulsory to have publications or research experiences. At the same time, it would certainly increase your competitiveness. So given that we are looking for students who can do research more or less on their own, having demonstrated some form of a prior research experience, will certainly be something that we look at quite favorably in terms of the application. In terms of work experience as in HR, I would also say yes, that does increase your competitiveness because it kind of shows that you have some grounding in the phenomenon that we're interested in studying. And oftentimes people with practical experience, they may have specific research questions that they want to address. So in that sense, it is a positive point, but it's also not a requirement for an application to have had prior work experience. So many of our students also come straight from a bachelor or master's program and then enter the PhD program. So in that sense, are open to both paths, if you will.
Great. Prof. Marilyn, for SIE, there is a question.
Yes, thank you. So there is this interested applicant who said he or she has an MSc or is currently an MSc student in NBS. So you're interested in strategic planning area. So this is quite specific, and you have had experiences in consulting firms, but you don't have academic research experience. May you apply? Yes, you can. You can definitely apply. It will help if you check on your motivation, like why do you want to apply for a PhD? Did you talk to people who are maybe your current professors? Did you check out some of the papers that they have worked on? Because you're a current NBS student, so you have access to our papers. So were there some things that really triggered your curiosity in terms of, oh, I want to work on this, even if you haven't done actual academic research, that's okay. So I don't think that should be a reason. But the important thing is, what is your motivation for doing a PhD? I think it boils down to that. Thank you.
Yes.
I think that's all for my part. Yeah. Thank you, George.
Thank you. There is a generic question, not general, actually quite specific question. Somebody is interested in enhancing green hydrogen production with solar plant or strategies for bioplastic technology adoption. So the question is there an opportunity in this? Well, you need to search for a specific faculty that's interested in that, but I can see many faculties here, like many divisions, like marketing could deal with that, even ITOM, SIE, depends from which point of view you will approach that. So I can see opportunities. And I have to say, if you are interested in this type of research, actually NTU generally is very good, because next door in engineering departments, they are developing this technology, right? So there is interest on how to commercialize this technology. So certainly very, very appropriate, but you just need to find the right people. Somebody's asking about the student demographics, like have we accepted people that have research experience or work experience? I don't know the demographics, and I don't know if they're even available. But to my experience, both profiles, like having the research experience or work experience, are very strong. I think we will treat them equally. So if you have either of them, work or research experience, do apply. I think your chances are very good. I don't know if anyone wants to comment on that.
Yeah, maybe I can say a few words. Yeah, definitely. Of course, I'm talking from the accounting division's perspective. If you have work experience, I think it's especially in in accounting related area, definitely it will be valuable because if you have work experience, you know what are the problems practitioners face in real life, and that can give you some ideas for your future research. Yeah, so definitely, I agree with what George said. It's definitely a plus.
Yeah, I think you summarized better than me. So there is one more question. What are the obligations if you are awarded scholarship? Okay. First, one thing I forgot to say. There is also the opportunity for self-funded PhD. So if you somehow you have the money, or you have, let's say, and this has happened before, somebody else sponsoring you, could be your country, for instance. This happens quite often. You can come independent of scholarship, all right? Now, other than that, everyone is coming with a scholarship. The expectation is that basically you do your PhD, is a full-time PhD, so you are not expected to do something else, like part-time work. And you need to pass the QE the first year to continue the scholarship, and every 6 months the scholarship is renewed. To my experience over all these years, I don't think we ever failed to renew anyone, unless they actually wanted to stop the PhD. So it's basically do the PhD, that's the requirement. The question is, are there any postdoc opportunities for NBS PhD graduates? I don't know if you mean in NBS or generally. In NBS, we have a lot of postdocs from many universities. Generally, I have to say, it's much easier to find a postdoc opportunity than a faculty. And nowadays, the trend is a little bit that people will also do a postdoc sometimes before they jump to a faculty position. But generally, I think if you finish a PhD in NBS and you want to continue as a postdoc, let's say in US, like in another university, it is very, very, very feasible. Maybe we take a couple of more questions, then we can stop. Well, there is a question about banking and finance again. What is the research culture in the division? I think this was explained, but I don't know if you want to say something.
No, I mean, just because there was this earlier question of whether you can apply to both banking, finance, and accounting, and we're like accounting. We would also not hold it against you. In fact, a lot of our students are required to take some accounting level PhD classes, and some accounting PhD students are taking finance classes. So accounting and finance, we do a lot of work together. A lot of the PhD students committees comprise faculty from both divisions, actually. So you can apply to both, and then, yeah.
Correct.
Then the culture, yeah, I guess but I think that varies a little bit also by by a supervisor, right? So there are some supervisors who are really hands off. They will just let you do what you want to do, but then you have to be responsible. So I guess that's the downside. And then there are some supervisors who will like call monthly meetings. It's a bit up to you, like what you prefer. We offer both. If you prefer to have a bit of hand-holding, there are supervisors who can offer that. If you like to have your freedom, we can do that as well.
Quick question about IS. Are there other sources of research guidance besides the supervisor? And maybe you can answer on behalf of the whole NBS, actually.
All right. I think this formal supervision arrangement is not just one individual faculty. In general, you can expect that there are typically a main supervisor and perhaps a co-supervisor. Additionally, now we have a mentor that has to be appointed as part of the advisory team. So these are basically like 3 faculties who will be around you, helping you, supporting you, your support cast, essentially, you see. More specific to IS, our students, in fact, apart from doing their key first priority research, which is their thesis, we are very open in terms of collaborations with other faculties that are not advising them in terms of their specific thesis as well. So in such a case, basically, is the entire department or the entire business school in general is basically your common pool of resource that you can draw upon. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this happens very well said across the whole NBS, actually. Very thriving research opportunities. So we'll try to answer some questions quickly. There's somebody who is interested in consumer behavior and whether there is flexibility. Yes, there is flexibility in the PhD, but of course you need to find somebody to work with. Somebody asked if they have a paper in not a very good journal, is it a problem? Actually, no, I don't think a problem, as long as the paper is good. It doesn't matter where it's published, but if the paper is good and it's actually yours, is a big plus. Quick question about LMO. Is there a interdisciplinary research at LMO? I think the answer is yes.
So I would approach you. Definitely yes. So we do a lot of interdisciplinary research at LMO. And it's not only at LMO. I think all of our divisions kind of encourage interdisciplinary work quite a bit. So we are no exception to that.
Okay. Is it possible for IS? Do we have IS? Yeah. No, ITOM actually, right? Is it possible to do PhD work in a field rather than computer modeling?
Okay, so I suppose you're referring whether is it possible to like gather data in the field. In such a case, it really depends on the research question and the research methodology. Based on my understanding of the question, well, probably what we can do or consider doing is like some kind of field experiment that involves, involving people in the field, for example, and is around the topic of sustainability. So that's my best understanding with regards to that question.
Okay. I think that's all for now. Again, this slide, you can see who you can contact if you have questions. Other than that, a lot of information is available online. You submit the applications through the system. And please contact us if you have any questions. And we hope we can see your application very soon. Thanks to the panelists, and thanks for you to attending this. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and to all the speakers. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.